Hello from California. This is the second lesson on WordPress. I hope that you are able to follow along. This is a format where you'll see me move my mouse and click different things, and it should be able to help you kind of see the different things that you have to click for different steps. So let's start by first going to Google. And once you get there, I want you to look up WordPress login. This is a good way to just access the page that you need to get to WordPress. So once you get to google.com, go ahead and type WordPress login and hit enter. Okay. So as you can see, we're here and it shows us as different sites that we can click. The one we're looking for is the one that has this URL at the bottom. I'm highlighting it here for you. And it reads https wordpress.com/login. Whenever you search something on Google, it'll always show you the URLs at the bottom. So just make sure that it has this one. And if you have identified that, go ahead and click it. And at this point, it's going to ask you for your email address or username. The username is really long for me, and I think for most of you. And I didn't really record it because you can just use your email address that you used to create the account. If you have not created an account with WordPress because you weren't present in the last classes, go ahead and ask someone from that was there in the classroom that might be able to help you. Yes. So let's go. Once you put in your email address, go ahead and click continue. And then it's going to ask you to input your password now. I'm going to go ahead and input mine. And if you notice, my information was popping up because this is my own personal computer, and so it remembers the information that I inputted in the past. Yours will not be the same. Another thing that I wanted to point out is that I am working off a Mac, and you're working on off a Windows computer, and so the interface and the screen will look different, which is fine. We all have different computers with different configurations. We also have different WordPress accounts with different content in the future and different kind of particularities. And so if something looks different, a little different than yours, that's fine. As long as it mostly looks the same, you're good. So let's just log in at this point once you enter your password. One more thing that I wanted to go over before clicking login is if you can't remember your password or you're having trouble accessing it because of your password, it might be two things. One, maybe you're not entering the same email that you used to create the WordPress account, or two, you just might be entering the wrong password, or again, you forgot it. If that happens, go ahead and click lost your password, and it will take you through the steps of retrieving or changing your password. The steps are: you click lost your password here, and then it asks you to input the email that you used to create WordPress, and you have to go to that email and click on the link that they sent you to make a new password. Okay, so hopefully you all have your passwords now, and we can go ahead and click login. Okay, so when we log in, we should see something that looks like this. And again, your content here might look different than mine, and that's totally fine. This is information that is kind of tailored to each individual user, depending on the time of the year. So for example, we see a post here about Rudolph, and which is relevant for the Christmas season. And Also, it kind of caters to the stuff that I looked up before. For example, here you can see suggestions, Iceland, quilting, climate change, which are all things that I searched in the past. The other thing that I want us to do at this point is turn off your screen monitor. Just go ahead and look at it should be at the bottom right hand corner of your monitor, like an off button just for the monitor, not the computer. Because I'm just going to go over quickly, not quickly, but just give a brief overview of the stuff that we covered in the last class for people that maybe were not there, or just so you can get the flow. We all played around with, most of us played around with WordPress in the last class, so I just want you to kind of see the stuff that I'm clicking and see what the stuff that we covered over the last class looks like again. So once you turn off your monitor, pay attention to what I'm doing here. So you can see I'm moving my mouse in circles, and I'm going to go ahead and press different things. So first I'm going to click X on this because I don't need it to do anything with my password. That was from my web browser, not WordPress. So if you can remember from the last class, excuse me, we went over the difference between Reader and My Site. Reader, of course, is a social part of WordPress where you can follow different blogs, different websites, search different topics, add tags. So, in the last class we covered Discover, and that shows you highlights and trends of WordPress. So I'm scrolling down here, and you can see again that Rudolph posts and different posts that are kind of currently trending. And yeah, that is the point of Discover. It just allows you to kind of see different people and blogs of things that you might be interested in, and that maybe you want to click on them. And the other tab we covered was search, and that allows you to search particular items. So let's say I wanted to find topics or websites related to Frida Kahlo, which is this beautiful, amazing Mexican artist. You see here, this is Frida. You can find different posts about her here on the left side panel. It's underneath this heading called Posts, and then you can also find sites here related to Frida that we could click on and also follow. If you hover over this right hand corner, you'll see it says follow, and you can just follow that website, and when you log in, it'll be shown on your reader. The other stuff we covered was tags, and these are subjects that you can add so that every time you log in, you're able to click on them and see kind of the latest posts related to that. So if you remember in the last class, I added climate change, Iceland, and quilting. Those are just random ones that I thought about. If I wanted to add a new one, let's say I'm suddenly really interested in skiing because it's snowing now. Not in California, but in Massachusetts. I can just go ahead and enter skiing and hit enter, and it shows me different posts on skiing. And now I can see it here, and it'll be there now the next time I log in, just like these here were as well. And if I wanted to remove one, let's say I'm no longer interested in quilting, I just hit the X and then it goes away. So that was the things that we covered in Reader. And the other things we covered on here were My Site, which is the part of WordPress that we work on the most, right? So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and click this and just go over the things that we covered in the last class for My Site. So if you remember, we covered themes where, let's say you just got WordPress and you were hoping to install a particular theme, and a theme just means like an aesthetic or a look for your website. WordPress has different themes already provided for you, so you don't have to worry too much about structuring it. So if you click on themes, it takes you to this different skins, really. That's another word for them, just skins and looks that you can apply to your website. And they do come in different price ranges, but of course there's also free ones, and if we click on the free tag, we're able to see different ones. The one we selected in the last class, if you remember, was this one called Independent Publisher 2, and as you can see, it's currently blue and it says active right here, because that means that it's currently the one that we're using. If we wanted to, for those of you that might not have been here in the last classroom, if you wanted to install it, you would just click on the theme, and it would not take you there because we already have this theme installed. So actually, I'm going to go back. So let's say, for example, you wanted to install this one. You would just click on it and then click activate this design, and it would do that. So I'm just going to go back because we don't need to do that at this point. But once you do have your theme installed and activated in this situation, or the same thing, you would then resort to customize. And I want to go briefly over this panel. It's called the dashboard. And the dashboard is the main control center where you can access different parts of the website and update them as needed. And so, yeah, let's go over to customize and see the different parts that we went over last time. So if you can remember, in the last class we went over site identity, colors and backgrounds, and fonts. And this is what I added in my last one. I'm gonna go briefly over each of them. So site identity, if you remember, is where you're able to add your logo, your site title, tagline, and also icon. Icon is the one that you see on the top of tabs. You see I added a cookie in the last one for my icon, but you don't see it up here because this is the WordPress dashboard, not currently on my website. I'm currently on the editor for my website, so that's why you'll see the WordPress logo up here and not the icon you installed last class. But you should see the icon that you installed in the last class here. If it's not, remember, don't. It might be because you need to click publish once you install an icon, and yeah, that's something to keep in mind. So remember, site title changes this part of the WordPress that I'm just highlighted here, and you can update it at any time. I'm gonna go ahead and change it. I think I named it tests, so I could show you guys an example, but I'm gonna change it to learn WordPress, something that makes sense from our website. You can name it this, or you can name it something else. And then the tagline is, of course, is something that just briefly describes your website. And I'm gonna put something basic here, exploring the different parts of WordPress together, because that's what we're doing. So let's say this is the first time you're doing this. You can just, again, go ahead and enter those things and change the icon. If you weren't here in the last class, this would be a good time to maybe pause the video and ask someone that was there in the last classroom to show you how to change the icon. But remember, you have to click here. It should say add icon or something similar to that, and you would just submit upload an image from, let's say, your desktop, and then you would crop it, and then you would then select it, the image. So remember, any change that you make here, you always have to hit publish, otherwise it will not be saved. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to go back to the dashboard to make sure that it updated. And whenever you need to go back to the dashboard, you just will click this X here, and it'll take you out of this customizer form and take you back here. So another way to see your site is to, well, one way to see your site is click view site, and then you can click here and it'll take you to the way your site currently looks. I'm actually gonna go ahead and just leave another tab open for my site so I can see how it will look like. So I'm gonna right click on this and I'm gonna open it in a new tab and make sure that the changes I just applied are there. So as you can see, Learn WordPress, the title is there, and also the tagline below is also there. So again, I'm going to leave this tab open here so I can come back to it and refresh it as needed to just make sure that those changes were applied. So I'm going to go back here to the dashboard and continue going over the things that we went over in the last class. Hit customize, I just hit customize, and remember we also went over colors and backgrounds, and you can just hit palettes and different things, different palettes change the colors of your website. And again, you can just play around here, and these changes won't actually be applied unless you click publish. So I'm just gonna go back here. And remember, we also played with fonts. And as you can see, the font here for headings is designated for the bigger words on the page. So if I'm going to click on one that looks really different, this one called Lobster 2. So you can see change Learn WordPress and Home, but it didn't change this part. If I wanted to change the smaller words on the website, I would go here to font. And I'm going to pick another one that looks really different so we can really see the difference. I'm going to choose Ubuntu. That one still looks the same as the other one. Let me see. I'm going to do this one maybe. Okay. No, it still looks the same. 400. Okay, as you can see, that changed this. And yeah, you can just choose different ones and see which one you like more. And again, these changes won't be applied unless you hit publish. But I like this. I'm gonna keep that, and then at this point I'm just gonna go ahead and choose a heading that I like. That one. I'm gonna hit publish because I like it. And I'm gonna go back over here to this tab and refresh it here. Refresh and reload are the same thing. So you can see when I hovered over this, it says reload. So I'm gonna hit that. And you see the heading change, the tagline change, and it's now a font that I like, set to a font that I like. So I'm gonna go back here to customizer, the customizer, and go back to fonts. And we're gonna play with header images next. So take this time to pause the video and turn on your monitors. And when you turn on your monitors, you should see something like this. I'm gonna go ahead and click the X to come back to what you should see. You should see something like this. I just clicked stats, and this is what you usually see when you log into WordPress and click on my site. You see the stats. So if you ever get lost for whatever reason, maybe sometimes the color scheme changes and the panel here changes to black. You could just log out and log in again, or you could just hit stats and then it should look like this. So yeah, that's just something for you to know in case you clicked something that took you to a different place and just it looks really different. You can just click stats and it'll take you to this. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to go over is this other option in themes. So let's go ahead and click customize.